Yes. This is Errol Spence Jr. You're watching True School Sports.
All right. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, the truth, Errol Spence Jr., he went out on record and he stated that he wants a mega fight, but not just any mega fight. He wants a mega fight with Cash Cow boxing himself, Canelo Alvarez, at 160 at the Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas. So, very, very interesting stuff coming from Errol Spence. I want to get into his before I even like give my take and whatnot. Let's just get into what Errol Spence Jr. had to say himself in regards to this fight. He stated the following, saying, I quote, "With Canelo, yeah, I definitely entertain that. That can happen. That's a huge fight. That would be huge for the Cowboys Stadium in Texas, and when we're back to 100% capacity, that's another mega fight that I could have. I could have a lot of mega fights. It takes quite a few pounds to get down to 147. I wouldn't have any problems fighting at 160, but at the end of the day, it's down to the guys in the suits." End quote there for Errol Spence. Now, we'll keep it all the way a buck, all the way 100 here on True School Sports when it comes to Errol Spence Jr. He's in a very great position. You know, God bless him in his life. He was able to survive that car crash, but he's in a great position because of the fact that, you know, he's unified welterweight champion. Some would say the best welterweight in the world. You know, he's got a big fight coming up at Cowboy Stadium with Danny Garcia, and that's going to further build his profile. And should he win that fight, that's going to be another name on his resume. That's going to be another big event under his belt on his resume, and that's going to further increase the profile of Errol Spence Jr. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, he's also stated in the past he wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao at Cowboy Stadium. You know, and then this fight right here with Canelo, I mean, man, I couldn't even imagine the kind of scenes that these two would create if they fought at Cowboy Stadium, because of the fact that, you know, when we talk about Canelo Alvarez, we're talking about one of the biggest, the biggest draw in boxing. You know, we're talking about the face of boxing in terms of, you know, ticket sales and drawing a crowd. You know, he's that guy, especially here in the States. And I know you could argue Anthony Joshua in the UK, but as far as here in the States, Canelo Alvarez is the one getting it done at the highest of levels at the current moment. So to pair that guy in Texas with the big Mexican fan base he has in Texas, with Errol Spence being the local Texas fighter, top champion, you know, world champion, you know, it'll be an explosive fight, and that's a fight that I've been talking about for a long time here on True School Sports. Errol Spence versus Canelo, you know, so I can't knock Errol for wanting to chase the mega fight, but I have to pose and I have to beg and I have to ask the question of, you know, why is he reluctant to fight Terence Crawford? Why is he talking about every other fight but Terence Crawford? You know, he hasn't even conquered 147. He hasn't. You know, Errol Spence's whole entire mantra and philosophy at welterweight was to take over the division, to get all the belts, to prove that you were far and away the number one guy at welterweight in the welterweight division. Now, I don't knock him for wanting to chase that bag, you know, and go and fight Canelo if he can, if that's an actual option for you. You know, there's things like Canelo's side that might prevent that fight from happening. You know, with the zone situation, with him maybe not even being able to make 160 anymore. We just don't know. So it's not even as black and white as he would think, or as you or I would think. But every time I hear Errol Spence talk, anytime I hear PBC talk about what their roadmap, what their options are for him, I hear every freaking name but Terence Crawford. And I want to ask why. I don't even want it to come from a hateful place in this video, because sometimes I know I watch my videos back and I get animated and I be coming off as a hater of Errol Spence, which is not even close. I love Errol Spence. Errol Spence is actually one of my favorite welterweights in the world, which is why I want to see it fight Terence Crawford. And one thing that I understand, and one thing that I feel like I have over a lot of people that watch boxing, is the fact that I can see things before they happen. I can see things before they happen. I know that if he goes and fights Canelo, that's him going up to 160. You know, and then because he's fighting at 160, I know he's a naturally bigger guy, and it's very hard to get down to 47, but it's important for him to continue fighting at 47 if he wants to stay there, because the longer his body goes without having to make that weight, the more accustomed it'll be to not making that weight, and he'll outgrow the weight, and then the built-in excuse of, oh, he outgrew the weight, he can't fight Crawford comes into play. And I just want, as a boxing fan, as someone who's a huge Errol Spence fan, I've been following him since he first made his pro debut. I just want to see this fight. I don't want to see the boxing public, and the sport of boxing in general just take a massive L because Terence Crawford decided to go chase a bag. And in all reality, look, I'm not saying he can't beat Canelo Alvarez, but he's going to go on as a big underdog. If he loses that fight, other than getting paid, what did you accomplish? What in that scenario, what did he do any differently than Mikey Garcia did? Than Mikey Garcia did when Mikey Garcia decided to avoid and sideswipe and duck Lomachenko and go all the way up to 147 to fight Errol Spence for a cash out payday. It's no different. It's the same thing. It's boxing history replaying itself out. But obviously it's higher weight classes and whatnot with Spence. But you gotta understand something. That fight has been marinating for too long between Crawford and Spence, and I would definitely say that if they can't get it done by the end of next year, there's no way in hell that fight's happening. And I really truly believe that if Errol Spence goes and he fights Canelo Alvarez, he's running a the massive risk of potentially, outgrowing the weight, maybe getting hurt if Canelo beats him really bad. If he wins, I mean, man, that puts him in an amazing position, and that would make him a clear A side in the Crawford negotiations. But I don't even care about A side, B side. I don't care about the money splits. I just want to see this fight because I really believe that when we talk about Terence Crawford, when we talk about Errol Spence and them fighting each other, I really believe that's the Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns fight of this generation at welterweight. That fight has to happen. We're talking about Terence Crawford, one of the best switch hitters in the game, if not the best switch hitter in the game, arguably the best pound for pound fighter in the world, but for damn sure one of the creme de la creme, top of the top of boxing as far as skills and fighters go. And then you got Errol Spence, the man who's kind of like a hybrid between Marvin Hagler and Terry Norris. He's got that workman-like type of style to where he's mowing you down, he's placing these shots, and he's handing out rib dinners. It's a great style matchup. It's two of the best fighters that this great country of America has to offer, and I want to see them get it on. Just in the prime of their careers. I don't want Spence to wait or outgrow the weight or to come off a loss, and I don't want Crawford to come off a loss. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But I'm not really a big fan of the rhetoric that he's gonna go fight Canelo. I understand he's throwing it out there. I understand it's about making money. It's a business. I'm not saying to not get your bag. Go get your bag, Errol Spence. Go be great. But it just seems to be a recurring pattern. That these PBC welterweights are avoiding Terence Crawford at all costs, and they're on a unified front when it comes to that. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about what Errol Spence is doing and how he's talking and all that stuff. And, both these guys have fights coming up. Terence has a fight coming up in a couple weeks with Kell Brook, and that's not going to be an easy fight. He's got to take care of business in that regard and make sure he beats Kell Brook. And then Errol Spence is not fighting a pushover even in Danny Garcia, who really has nothing to lose. People are already slagging him off and whatnot and not giving him a chance. So he's got nothing to lose. And a fighter who has nothing to lose, that's confident, that believes in himself, is a very dangerous fighter. So Danny Garcia is a dangerous fighter. He will be a dangerous fighter come December the 5th when he steps in the ring under the lights at Cowboys Stadium. And that's just what it is. But objectively speaking, for me, I do think for whatever reason, I can't pinpoint why, I can't pinpoint how, but I just really believe that there's a reluctance from Errol Spence to fight Terence Crawford. And him calling out Canelo, the way I look at it is it's the same thing that Mikey Garcia was doing to Lomachenko when he went up to fight Errol Spence. So that's my take on it. You guys let me know yours in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just kidding dang it. So until next time, take care, guys.
Showtime, Sean Porter. It's Errol Spence Jr.
Hey everyone, this is Jesse Vargas.
You're watching True School Sports. You're watching True School Sports.
And you're watching True School Sports.